Welcome. Going to practice guiding a shortish but full class. So we'll see how that goes. Your feedback really appreciated as I learn. So thank you. We're going to start here in mountain pose. Feet hip width distance apart. Palms facing out. Shoulders down, not hunched up around our ears, just standing nice, straight and tall, elongating our spines, grounding through our feet, reaching down with our hands, reaching up with our spine. From here, inhaling our arms up, we'll take that left wrist and the right palm, gently leaning over towards the left, getting a nice stretch in the right body. Just coming to a point that feels comfortable for you. Inhaling up, we'll take that right wrist and the left palm this time, gently bending towards the right, getting a nice stretch through the left body. Inhaling our arms up. Exhaling, we'll bring our hips back as we sit into chair. So just like we're sitting in a chair, you want your knees over your ankles. If you look down, you should be able to see your toes. As a matter of fact, you should be able to lift your toes up off the ground. Arms up, nice and strong. Sinking into those hips. Letting them come back. Weight in your heels. Inhaling up. Hands to heart center. I'm going to come back to the long side of my mat, creating a little distance in your feet here this time. We're going to come into our goddess pose. So we want probably a good 3 feet distance. Arms up as we squat down, bringing our arms in what we call cactus arms, so just bending those elbows 90-degree angle. Knees bent. You do want to keep your knees over your ankles. Sinking a little lower if you can, holding here. Straightening the legs, straightening the arms as we come into star. Exhaling back down into goddess. Bending into those knees, keeping them over the ankles. Bending those elbows back to that 90-degree angle. We'll do that one more time. Inhaling up. Star pose. Straightening our legs, straightening our arms out. Exhaling, bending those elbows, bending those knees, coming back into goddess, holding here. Inhaling back up. We will return to Tadasana. From here, we're going to step this right foot back, bringing a gentle bend into this left knee. So as we step this right foot back, we're starting from Tadasana. Our feet are hip width distance apart. So as we're stepping into it, we're stepping that right foot straight back. So the right and left foot will not be in alignment. That back foot, your right foot right now, the toes aren't going to point directly to the long end of your mat. It's going to be like a 45-degree angle. You want your hips squared with the front of the mat for our warrior one. Nice bend in that left knee, arms up. Holding here for warrior one, continuing to breathe. Opening up. Now we're going to bring our arms, notice, to shoulder height. We're going to step that back foot, that right foot back a little further. We're going to now bring those toes on that right foot closer to a 90-degree angle. As we reach out, our hips are now opened up towards the side of the mat, not the front of the mat. For warrior two, looking out over that left arm. We want to be careful that we don't just sink into it. We want to hold nice and strong, engaging through the core. We don't want to be leaning forward, leaning back. We want to be centered over our hips. Our shoulders should be centered over our hips. Continuing to breathe. As we're ready, we will bring this left palm forward, turning it up. And then we're going to bring it up to the ceiling as we bring the right hand down and just gently let it slowly touch onto our back leg for reverse warrior. Continuing to breathe. Exhaling, we'll bend into this left arm, gently resting it on that left bent knee. That knee's still bent. We don't want to collapse into it. We want to use our core, bringing that belly button in towards the spine. Right arm, nice, straight, strong line up to the ceiling, or you can bring it right over your right ear towards the middle of the room for side angle. Remembering to breathe. On an exhale, we're going to move into triangle. We'll do that by straightening this left leg and bringing that hand just to a point that feels comfortable to us. Notice we don't want our chest falling towards the floor. We want to stay nice and open here. So right arm up towards the ceiling, left arm just resting anywhere on the leg where we can keep a nice straight line. If we were up against the wall, our shoulders, our heels, our backs, our bottoms, our head, everything would be touching that wall. Nice straight line. Inhaling back up. We're going to come onto the ball of this back foot, bringing that bend back into the left leg, coming up onto the ball of the right foot. You may want to step it in a tiny bit closer. As we come into our crescent lunge. As we're ready, inhaling our arms up and bringing the chest up towards the ceiling, getting just a slight arch in the back, whatever feels comfortable for us. Stepping up with the right foot, feet hip distance apart. We'll inhale our arms up, exhaling, nice little bend in the knees as we forward fold. Inhaling halfway up, hands on shins, nice straight back, straightening our legs. Exhaling as we forward fold. And then slowly we'll bring ourselves back up to Tadasana. So we're going to repeat that series now on the other side. I'm going to situate myself so that I'm not facing away from you. So we'll be back here. This time we're going to step back with the left foot. So we'll get a bend in that right knee. So just like with warrior one on the other side, we want that back foot, that left foot, to have about a 45-degree angle. It's not facing directly to the long side of our mat. Hips square towards the front of our mats, not turned sideways. Nice strong bend in that right knee. As we're ready, we can inhale our arms up and just holding here, but remembering to breathe. Exhaling as we step that back foot, that left foot back a little farther, bringing that foot now to more of a 90-degree angle where it's pointed directly at the outside of the long side of the mat. Continuing to keep a nice strong bend in that left knee, opening up, arms at shoulder height as we reach from one side of the room to the other. Nice strong engaged arms, engaged core for warrior two. Hips facing the long side of the mat in warrior two. Holding here, remembering to breathe. Exhaling, we'll bring that right palm forward, turning it facing up. As we're ready, right hand up to the ceiling, left hand gently rest on the back of your left thigh. Nice engaged arms, really reaching up towards the ceiling with your right arm, really reaching down towards the floor with your left. Engaged core as we're here in reverse warrior, remembering, of course, to breathe. Exhaling, bending that right arm, bringing it to that right leg, bringing the left arm up over your ear, reaching towards the center of the room, not collapsing, but keeping engaged to that core for our side angle here on the right side. As we're ready, we'll straighten that right leg, moving into our triangle pose, bringing the arm straight up towards that left arm straight up towards the ceiling, making sure we open up through the chest here. We don't want it collapsing to the floor. So our right hand's only going to come down as low on the leg as it is comfortable to be able to keep that nice straight line. Hips, back, heels, head, everything, if you were up against the wall, would be gently touching that wall. Nice open chest, not collapse towards the floor, and of course, remembering to breathe. Inhaling as we come back up, we're going to come back onto the ball of this left foot, bringing a bend into the right leg again. So continuing to bend into that right knee, nice, long, straight left leg on the ball of that foot. We'll bring hands to heart center. Inhaling when we're ready, we'll inhale them up. Maybe bringing the chest up towards the ceiling, getting a light, slight arch in the back, just whatever feels good for you. Holding here in our crescent lunge. Exhaling as we come back to Tadasana, mountain pose. Feet hip width distance apart. Arms out beside us, reaching down to the ground. Shoulders not scrunched up to the ears. Just holding here for a second. We'll inhale up, light bend in the knees. Exhaling as we fold forward. Bending in the knees as much as we need to so that our hands can comfortably reach the mat. Continuing to breathe. As we're ready, we'll come up to our halfway, straightening our spine, nice long spine, straightening our legs. Exhaling as we fold forward, and then inhaling slowly all the way up, hands up, palms together, hands to heart center. We're going to bring ourselves into tree at this point. It's one of my favorite poses. So we'll start by balancing on the left. So just kind of taking a second here to gradually shift your weight over to that left foot. So your right foot's still connected with the mat, but you're really bringing that weight into the left. So maybe starting to raise the heel. You want to turn this right knee out. So you don't want the right knee facing forward. You want the right knee turned out, opening up the hip. This hip opening is the really critical part here. So if you're right here with your toes on the mat, excellent. We just want to get that hip open. If you'd like, you can bring that foot up to your lower shin. You might even want to bring it all the way up to your thigh. That's your choice, whatever feels right for you today. Finding a focal point to really concentrate your attention will help with your balance. And of course, remember to breathe. Bringing that foot back down. We're now going to bring our weight over to that right side, and we're going to repeat tree pose over on the left. So bringing our weight over to our right. Again, opening up that hip. You may be right here with your toes gently resting on the mat. Just as long as that left hip is open, great. Or you may want to bring your foot up to your shin. Finding your focus, finding your balance will definitely help make this easier. Bringing that foot back down. All right. So we're going to do a little balancing chair here for a second, all right? So this time we're going to bring that right ankle and rest it just above the left knee. Flexing those toes, so the toes on your right foot kind of coming like you're trying to stretch them up towards your shin, I guess. So just finding your balance here, finding you a nice focal point. As you're ready, hands to palm, hands to heart center. And then just like we did earlier in chair, just slowly sinking your hips back a little, as if you're getting ready to sit in a chair. Inhaling back up, bringing that right leg down. We're going to repeat that now on the left side. So we'll bring the left ankle right above the right knee, keeping that left foot flexed. Taking a second to find our focal point, hands to heart center. Getting our balance. When we're ready, we'll slowly sink our hips back as if we're sitting into a chair. Doing our best to maintain our balance. This is challenging. Inhaling back up to mountain pose or Tadasana. Excellent, excellent. I'm going to turn back around here. We're going to do 2 more poses, and then we'll move to the floor. What we're going to do here is we're going to step into pyramid. So with my feet hip distance apart, I will step my right foot forward. You see I have about a foot and a half distance here. My feet are still hip width distance apart. So left foot fully on the floor, right foot fully on the floor. I'm not up on the ball of my foot, either foot, both feet nice and grounded. As I'm ready, exhaling, I can start to slowly hinge from the hips, just finding a spot that's comfortable to me. And I can bring my hands to the leg just to help stabilize me if I need to. And again, just folding forward as far as feels comfortable for my body today. Holding here in pyramid. Coming back up, bringing my palms beside my arms straight beside me, palms facing towards me. I'm going to start to bring my weight forward into that front right foot. Finding me a focal point on the floor, a couple of feet in front of me. As I'm ready, I will gradually begin to peel that left leg up off the ground, hinging forward into Warrior 3. Coming back down into our mountain pose. This time we'll step the right foot back. Again, about a foot, foot and a half distance, both feet pointing forward, both feet firmly on the ground, not up on the ball of the foot. We can bring our hands to our hips here. It'll help us kind of focus on where we're hinging from. And again, we're folding and hinging from these hips, from the bend in our hips, not bending our back, but really folding from the hips as we come out and over this forward leg, bringing our hands to wherever feels comfortable, folding only as far as feels good for us, and remembering to continue to breathe. Inhaling back up. We'll start to slowly bring that weight into this left leg. Arms beside us, palms facing in towards our body. As we're ready, we'll start to gradually bring that right foot up off the ground, hinging forward from the hip, coming into our warrior three, now balanced on the left leg. Returning to our Tadasana, mountain pose. We will inhale our arms up, exhale, hinging from the hips, folding forward, nice bend in the knees for our forward fold. As we're ready, let's go ahead and lower ourselves to the mat here, slowly. And we will come to a nice little cross-legged sit. Inhaling our arms up, we're going to take our left hand to our right knee, right hand behind us as we exhale, getting a nice twist, looking out over that right shoulder. Inhaling up, exhaling, bringing the right hand to the left knee, left hand behind us. Nice little twist, sitting up nice and tall as we look over that left shoulder. Inhaling back to center. Let's go ahead and move into tabletop pose. So for tabletop, we want our wrists right beneath our shoulders, and we want our knees right below our hips. From here, we're going to exhale, bring our head and our tailbone up, letting the abdomen gently drop towards the ground. Inhaling. For cow, exhaling, we're going to arch our back, dropping the head and the tailbone, really pulling that belly button to the spine for cat. Inhaling, letting the abdomen drop, letting the head and the tailbone come up for cow. Exhaling, bringing the head and tailbone down, drawing that belly button in towards the spine, arching the back for cat. Just moving with your breath. Let's do this a couple more times. Inhaling as we bring the head and tailbone up for cow pose. Exhaling as we arch through the shoulders and upper back for cat pose, dropping the head and tailbone. Inhaling cow. Exhaling cat. Now we're going to we may want to give a little more distance between our knees here before we do this, bringing the toes together, and we'll sit our hips back for child's pose. Just resting here for a second. Back up to our tabletop. Remember, tabletop, knees are directly below hips, and our wrists are directly below our shoulders. From here, we got a couple of options we can practice here. We can start just by bringing that right leg up straight behind us. We don't want to overly lift it. We're not bringing it out. Just directly behind us, keeping it level, our hips level. If you'd like, you can stay right here, or you might want to raise your left arm up to shoulder height and stretch it out. So you got left arm and right leg out. Holding here for a second. We'll bring those back to the mat. So whatever you did on that side, we're going to repeat now. So if you just bringing that left leg out to hip height and just stretching that leg out, you may stay here. If you chose to on the other side and you want to on this side, you can add the right arm as well. Holding here, remembering to breathe. Bringing them back to the mat. We're going to come up onto our knees. Let me turn, well, no, I'll stay right here. Inhaling our arms up, exhaling, slight arch in the back as we bring the chest. Balance can be interesting in this one. Inhaling the arms up, bringing the chest up towards the ceiling, getting a slight arch through the back, just coming to a point that feels comfortable to you. Coming back straight. You can also bring your arms and let them gently rest here on your lower back. And once again, as you're ready, exhaling, getting that arch by drawing your chest up towards the ceiling, really pushing the hips forward, getting a nice arch here for camel pose. Inhaling back up. I'm going to turn around this way real quick. Okay, we're going to move into gate pose. So what we're going to do here is we're going to take this right leg, we'll start on the right, and we're going to bring it straight out. Toes pointing towards the long part of your mat. As we're ready, inhaling our arms up, exhaling, we'll bring that right arm down that right leg, getting a nice stretch to the left side body, left arm just resting above us, stretching out towards the center of the room with that left arm. Holding here, remembering to breathe, just feeling that nice stretch to the left body. Inhaling back up, we'll bring that right leg in. This time we'll bring the left foot out. Again, toes pointed towards the long section of our mat. As we're ready, inhaling arms up, and then we'll start to bend, bringing that left arm down to touch that left leg, right arm over, bicep over our ear, pointing in towards the center of the room. Nice strong line as we get a nice stretch here through the right side of the body this time. Inhaling back up. We're going to go ahead and bring ourselves back down to the mat. Lowering down. Bringing our legs out. So just having our legs stretched out in front of us, sitting up nice and tall. We may stay right here. This may be enough of a stretch for us, just having the legs straightened and a nice straight long spine. If we'd like, as we inhale, we can hinge forward from the hips, bringing our hands out to anywhere on our legs that feels right. We want to be careful we're not just bending through the back. We're hinging from the hips, getting a stretch through the calves and the hamstrings. Holding here, remembering to breathe. Inhaling up. Let's bring that right foot in so that the sole of your right foot is now resting against the inner left thigh. So left leg still out nice and straight, right knee bent out where the sole of your right foot is resting on your inner left thigh, right there touching that. As we're ready, sitting up nice and tall, facing that left foot, We will again hinge forward just to a point that feels comfortable for us. Getting that nice hamstring and calf stretch here. Remembering to be careful not to arch through the back. Princess here is demonstrating a lovely down dog. Good job, Mama. Inhaling our arms, inhaling up. We will see if we can coax the pup to move. May not have much luck with that. We're gonna bring the right foot back out, and this time we'll bring the left foot in to the right thigh. So we're just switching sides here. I know she's interfering with the view. I apologize. She loves when I do the yoga. Okay, inhaling, sitting up nice and tall. Remember, left knee is bent, so the sole of your left foot is resting gently against your right upper inner thigh. As we're ready, hinging forward, getting that nice calf and hamstring stretch. Mama, can you move, please? Can you move, please? No? Come on. Come on, baby. Good girl. Inhaling up. This time, I'm going to face this way to hopefully make it a little easier for you to see what's going on. So I'm going to bring the soles of my feet together about 1 foot distance between myself and my body. So soles of the feet together, sitting up nice and tall. This is either bound angle or butterfly pose, whichever name you like best. Inhaling, again, sitting up nice and tall, just letting the soles of your feet touch. Ignoring the pup the best you can. As you're ready, inhaling once again, remembering we're not curving through the back, we're hinging from the hips, just coming as far forward as feels comfortable to your body, getting a nice stretch through the inner thighs. Boo. You're being naughty, Mama. Remembering to inhale and exhale, not forgetting to breathe here as you get this nice stretch to the inner thighs. Not forcing it, just coming to a place that feels more natural and comfortable to you. We'll inhale, back up. This time, let's bring the legs out into a nice wide angle. So straightening those legs, but bringing them out into a V, just a point that feels comfortable. One of the things here we want to be aware of is you really want to flex those toes so the toes are kind of coming back towards you. That will help you. Now you may find that just sitting up nice and tall in this V is a pretty intense stretch for the inner thighs already. But if you would like more of a stretch, just comfortably coming slowly with your breath as you exhale, hinging forward from the hips a little bit until you find that spot that feels right for you. This will be different for each and every one of us depending on just how tight our legs are. Again, just sitting up nice and straight, you may feel enough of a stretch already. Inhaling back up. Once again, let's move into that reclined butterfly. I love the feeling of that one after doing the wide leg forward fold. So we'll bring the soles of those feet together. Again, generally for me, it may be different for you, but typically for me, it's about 1 foot length between where my heels are and my body is. Sitting up nice and tall, straight spine. As you're ready, hinging forward from the hips. Remembering to breathe. Inhaling up. Let's go ahead and come into just an easy seat. Move the pups so you guys can see what I'm doing. They are just all over me today. I apologize. So just sitting here comfortably cross-legged, closing our eyes, connecting with our breath for a second. As we're ready, inhaling our arms up, bringing the palms together, exhaling to heart center. Inhaling the arms up, palms together, exhaling to heart center. One last time, inhale, arms up, palms together, exhale to heart center. Thank you for checking out this practice today. And again, I am learning, so if you have any feedback for me, that would be greatly appreciated. Thank you.